We're live from the camper van. Hey everybody, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Aaron for Trail Talk, coming to you from the camper van in Courmayeur, Italy. We got to get Ricky into the room and then we're going to wrap up what has been an amazing week in Chamonix. So let's get Ricky in. Here he is. Ricky, that's a first for us. I have not seen that error message. Ricky is unable to join.
I was there in the chat and you were saying, let's get Ricky to join. I said, let me in. Just open the door. Let me in.
I was just chatting away there. I didn't need you at that point. I was talking about Brooks shoes and other things that were
And
coming
holes in
through.
your shirt. I heard you. I heard you.
Somebody asked the question. Yeah, I think they were taking the piss, which is fair enough. But here, look for those that are not watching the video, we have the rocker long sleeve moth tack, which is like what is the point of the ventilation whenever you put sleeves on it? I don't know. I didn't buy it for no ventilation. I didn't buy it for no running. I bought it for vibes. And it's got the vibes because it's got fire on the arms with a rocker at the end. So
It's a homage to the rocker. I don't think you're going running in that top. You're running the other ones, but I doubt you're going to be running that one.
considering I cut the arms off the other ones, I'll not be running in the long sleeve. But
Mm.
look, let's crack on with the show. This is Trail Talk Live. It's not a Monday, it's a Tuesday, but we're doing it anyway. I'm not in my normal base. I'm not in the kitchen in Chamonix. I'm not in the studio in Sydney. I'm in the camper van in Courmayeur, Italy, and I'll tell you why later on. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Ricky Wynn.
There it is. I dropped my surname after some critique during UTMB week. No longer I'm going to announce myself as Aaron Shimons because I'm just going with Aaron because people were taking the piss out of me. So made me feel self-conscious about it. Look,
Nah, mate, come on, come on. Don't,
I took it to
don't,
heart. I took it to
yeah.
heart, man. Like sponsors, X Miles, Tantrums, Goreware. Somebody said it earlier on. Link is in the bio. Go and get your discount. Throw us a few quid, buy us a pizza. You know how it goes. What else is the news that we got to tell people before we crack into the main um the main topics? Merch deliveries have started to arrive. A couple of days ago, they landed in America. Also, they've landed in Ireland. Ricky's rocking it now, hand delivered. Uh, the deliveries have got to the Netherlands and other parts of the EU. The UK stuff is delayed because doing Brexit forms in French is what I call a pain in the arse. So Ricky has taken the UK orders to Ireland to nip across the invisible line and post them in the UK. And that is saving us a whole lot of hassle. So thanks for that, Ricky. I'm probably letting people know that they should expect their deliveries next week if they're in the UK, because deliveries will only take a few days once you get them done.
Exactly, yeah.
What's on the agenda today? We need to know how the last week or so has gone of training. We need to wrap up UTMB, our thoughts about the event, the week in general, basically what we've enjoyed, the hot takes, whatever it is. We're not running down the results. That's not what we do. But so let's start off with the training. Ricky, couple of big weeks in Chamonix. I was a wee bit set back near the end of it. It felt like you were running out of steam. You took a wee rest day. I didn't hear you get out of, come out of the bedroom one morning. Like, I think Ricky's having a lie in. So you took a rest day. Not like you. But how many meters of vert did you do in the week? And tell us about your training. Go for it.
Yeah, so that was my second week in Chamonix. Again, training for the Worlds. So the Worlds is in 3 weeks, 3 weeks, I think, from today. So last week was 160K, I think, with something like 7,900 something, almost 8,000 meters of climbing. So look, I wanted a little bit more, but it was look, we were busy, we were doing stuff. UTMB week was on, I was cramming. I didn't want to cram insanely and then just like run out of steam. Sunday I took a rest day. Technically not a rest day because I'm traveling all day Sunday, but I just thought if I went for a run in the morning, I'd have been tight for time. I had to get the bus back to Geneva, unfortunately. I had to fly home to Ireland to go back to work on Monday. But look,
Took you forever.
another, yeah, it took a long time, yeah. But that's it, traveling, it's the whole day. You think, oh yeah, it's only a 2 hour flight, but I mean it takes you the whole day, right? But another solid week. Really happy with where I am. And even like little things like since I came back, I'm wrecked. I'm going back to work. And like 2 weeks off construction work, and then you're thrown in at the deep end. And it's just like getting hit by Mike Tyson. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. But today's run, I was really tired. But I can almost feel the effects of altitude straight away where I'm running pretty fast with a very, very low heart rate. And I'm like going, yeah, okay, I might be tired and my legs might be a little bit fatigued from the last 2 big weeks. But I mean, my engine feels very, very big and very, very strong. So that has me very confident and very happy going into the taper for the Worlds.
And that's also the difference of running somewhere reasonably flat today by comparison to running in the Chamonix Valley, where you were getting hundreds and hundreds of meters of vert even when you didn't try.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's it. Like you always feel that way.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. I think I did 2 runs in Chamonix where I got less than 300 meters of climbing, like, whereas in the run I did today, if I got maybe 100 meters of climbing. But at the same time, you just know, you can just tell as well, like, you can just tell that, yeah, what you did the last 2 weeks has really worked because you are feeling good and you're feeling strong and your aerobic engine and your aerobic base just feels extra.
Strength training because you're going uphill, you're getting the leg conditioning because you're bombing downhill, and you're getting the run training because you're running as well. And I think you get a multiplier effect on it as well because the likes of the average Joe isn't running the stuff that you're actually running as well. So it's just amazing training for you to get in a couple of weeks of that and then go back to already good training, but you can compare before and after, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. And like, look, as well, like little other little things are like confidence boosters as well. I was training with other lads over in Chamonix, different lads at sort of different levels of the scope, we'd say, of fitness and where they are in their training, and then compared to where I am in mine. And I was going out on tired legs, and every day I just felt like, yeah, okay, this won't be a great run because I had such X run yesterday or X run the day before, but every day I was just like, yeah, spring loaded, legs were ready to go, and I was like very, very, let's say, good at running uphill. And like, I'm always keen to run down a hill, but I mean, it's the uphill especially that was impressing me and giving me confidence. Yeah.
Good man yourself. Had a question
Well,
come in
what
there
you
when you
say?
were
What you say before? You said before, if you were a bar of chocolate, you'd eat yourself.
you would.
So you let's see let's hear about how your training went this week. You were very busy on the content side of things, on the UTMB side of things. So let's hear how you got on and what are your plans moving forward.
There was a question come in when you were chatting about how would I rate the Kailas Fuga 330 out of 10. I don't know if I'm ready to give it a score out of 10. I've run it a good bit. I've probably done like maybe 50-ish K. I don't know. Check my Strava to see what many Ks I've done in it. I've done a good few runs in it, enough to form an opinion that I like it and I prefer it over the Pro. But I'm going to be exclusively using it over the next fortnight when I'm in Italy. And so I'll give a better opinion and I'll do a first impressions video on Instagram and then a full review on YouTube at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. Training. All right. So week one, Chamonix, what did I do? 15 hours, 6,000 meters of vert. Was it 115K or something? Can't
Something
remember
like
what it
that, yeah,
was.
yeah.
Last week, oh man, I find it hard to do the training when I've got a busy head. And I don't mean that like in a like an ADHD sense. I just mean I've got a lot of things to do. And I did have a lot of things to do, as you know. So I trained okay through to Thursday, and then I had to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off because Friday, you know, I was busy.
Mm.
Thursday I ran and I got the Norda 001A and I did a test run in them and I just ran out on the OCC course in reverse to film some content from that race and double it up with a shoe test. So I got 23K in those shoes, which was a good test run. And then Friday, obviously CCC UTMB, I had media obligations and it was kind of just like had a lot going on. I needed to get up at 10, I needed to leave at 10 p.m. that night, and that was going to be the start of probably like 24 hours of no sleep and eating aid station food. So I just sort of resigned myself to not training those days because, it is what it is. You can't do it all. And I kind of beat myself up when I don't run, but I was okay with not running. And then Sunday, I was just totally wiped out. And in the course of Saturday night through to Monday morning, so 2 nights, I did it like 10 hours sleep the first night and then seven the next. So I felt ready to go again and I ran again yesterday. So yeah, I can't really say too much. I can't, you know, I come out of the couple of weeks at UTMB feeling like maybe I don't want to race in November. I've entered
Yeah.
that race, and in the back of my head, I know that they have a deferral policy that you can just say, I'll do it next year. And I would like to do the race, but I kind of maybe just can't be arsed thinking about a training block for a race.
Yeah, but you've got the whole month of September and the whole month of October, man. You've got 2 solid months there. I know you're doing stuff that we're going to be talking about soon, but I mean, you're still in a great position, man. You missing a few days here and there during your TMB week won't have any effect on what you're doing in your next training block. I actually think it's a good reset. Like it's almost like you're as well take those few days off during UTMB week so that you are reset and ready to go come the start of September.
This is like therapy. This is
Mm.
like Instagram live therapy. Bring us your problems. We'll talk about them because we're talking about our own runner problems. All right, that's enough for me on the training front. Ricky, I want to get into our favorite things about UTMB week. And I'll just kick us off. One of the things I kind of loved about the whole month of August was Dan Green's first trip to Europe and how much he fucking loved now being a Salomon athlete and then going to the camp and doing all of the whole recce of the CCC and running around with all of those athletes, meeting those athletes for the first time, calling them teammates. He was just happy as a pig in shite. It was like such a joy to see and very visible. So that was like a really good feel good thing that I took away from it. And then the next thing was I was chatting to one of my mates that works in Ravenel and yesterday, actually, don't even ask me what I bought. You don't know. I haven't told you yet. But dropped a few more sheets, tax free, of course. I said to him, what was the best selling shoe over UTMB? Because obviously Ravenel manage a lot of the stalls. They manage a lot of the activations as well. So even whenever some of these brands show up, the purchases go through as Ravenel if you look at your credit card. He says, hands down, Mafati 5.
Boom. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I think Hannah's in the chat. I think Hannah's in the chat. Hannah's like a rep and for Hoka. So Hannah, we did it.
So Mafati 5 was the biggest seller by a landslide. Uh, but yeah, give me some of your thoughts then on the week. Favorite bits.
Ah, like my one of my favorite bits is somebody's result in one of the races. So I don't want to get into that until we start talking about one of the races. Like, but I mean,
Well,
what's
how
not
did
to
you feel
love,
about
man?
the buzz around town? How did
Ah,
you, comparing to other years, you've been there several times now as well. It was my 10th year there in a row. For me, it felt like the town was busy, it didn't feel any busier, contrary to some people's reports. But it didn't feel any busier than the last couple of years, where it's kind of taken a step up after the Hoka um, title branding and Ironman buy-in. I thought that maybe the spread of people was better across the week. The expo, even when it was busy, it wasn't like chock block, terribly busy. And I think the main difference that I am seeing was that anyone that was any way connected to running, influencer, marketing, brand people, whatever, they were in town. Even
Yeah,
if I look at them and think, what are you even doing here? Like, you're nowhere near, you're not the type of athlete, runner, whatever, that should be in the mix for a UTMB race, but they wanted to just be in town for the buzz that was happening there. So I thought that was a big change this year. A lot of influencers, kind of, it's a dirty word. Obviously,
yeah.
people associate bad things with that, but I mean, I don't mean it in a negative sense. I just mean there was definitely more influencers, marketing people, brand people, um, there. So that was maybe the biggest difference I thought I saw.
Yeah, so something very cool for me was I got to like the other years I was there, I'm always racing, man, you know. So this year I wasn't racing. So I got to follow the races a lot closer this year and
That's true.
be tuned in and be in certain spots to watch the races finish as well, you know. So like down at Ravenel, between Ravenel and Arctic Juice there on that last stretch before you actually like sort of enter the village as such. That little stretch there, it's like I don't know, it's like a little highway and it's lined left and right and it's just lined with fans all the way down. And like when the runners come up from the river, so they're on the last stretch, they're coming down off Flégère, they're coming up the river. It's deadly, and they turn this corner, and then it's like this tunnel of people. And it is electric. It's electric. I seen it like for OCC. I seen it when Jim was coming in. I seen it for the CCC, and I seen it for the UTMB as well. And it was just always electric. That was very, very cool to be in those certain parts because I'd never have been there because I was always racing and like the next day I might have been recovering and I would have been at the finish line more so than there. And I thought the buzz was super cool there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought that was your first time there, not racing.
Mm,
Next year could be the big loop,
yeah.
and that could be my immediate obligation. It could be full trail talk operation
Yeah,
going.
like, and it was funny because this year at UTMB, like, okay, I've got Worlds in a couple of weeks, so super excited about that. But I mean, man, there was some itch on me during the week. You know, all the racing going on. I know I'm training like mad, and it's deadly to be able to train and not have the pressure of racing, but it's still like it's when you love racing and you just want to be in the mix, you know. So that has me super excited about getting to UTMB next year. So look, I've got 11 stones and like if any way possible of trying to get an automatic place in there, I'll be gunning for that over the next few months, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. Fingers crossed for you on that. I would actually, I had run all of the UTMB races before OCC was created, so I would actually like to do OCC, and even the weather this year and the style of the run. You know, the I just feel like that would be a really fun race to go at. You know, what was the winning time? Like 5 hours. So
Five,
what?
yeah.
Maybe I could run it in 7 or something. So I just think that would be a great experience. So I've got a couple of stones. See what we can do. I'll actually have a few more stones, hopefully, because I'm doing Kosciuszko in November, and that'll get me a couple more stones as well. And I've got some stones from Verbia as well.
Like Kosciuszko would probably be four, wouldn't it? Is it the
I'm just doing
miler
50K.
or the 50K? So probably
Yeah.
two stones then maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how many I'll have in total in the UTMB wallet. Question in the chat. I was surprised to see fewer DNFs this year. Are people more prepared now? Yeah, I think we'll come on to that in a little bit.
Mm.
But yeah, we definitely see more people grinding it out, which was good. A couple of the thoughts.
The dropout rate in TDS was still pretty high, though. That race is still killing people.
Yeah, well, I think the dropout rate in TDS is last 2 years was 39 and 40%.
This year was 49%, man. 49.
Get in there. Go
Yeah.
on.
So
We need we need something there
people,
that's hard as
you,
hell.
you just need to understand this. If you just stay in the race, you will finish in the top half. If you just stay in it, just stay in it.
Yeah, good point. Um, Something else that I wanted to mention. So last couple of years, Col de la Forclaz on CCC and TD on UTMB Friday and Saturday has been an absolute blast. Fake chainsaws, speakers, costumes, fancy dress, Tour de France type of tunnels. Not so this year. The memo went out to all of the regional kind of fan clubs that let's descend on Valourcine, which is the second to last aid station, about 20k from the finish.
20, yeah.
And mate, it was nuts. I went there instead of Forclaz this year, and thankfully we had a trail talker who was based in the village, and I got to park right in beside the aid station. Shouted to Alan, thanks for
Mm.
that. But you saw the videos of Col de la Forclaz. Valourcine this year was at least 10 times busier. Like the tunnel, the run out by by along the train tracks up towards the Col de Montet, it's quite a narrow stretch anyway, but it was between 4 and 8 people deep on either side for probably about at least 400 meters. Just a tunnel. Whenever Ben Damon came through, he was kind of like this. He had to hold his head down because it was like hands like cheering, and
Yeah.
it was absolutely bonkers.
And you know, I would prefer it there. I would prefer the crowds of people in Valourcine because when you get to Valourcine and when you get into that aid station, you leave that aid station, there's a horrible, it looks like it's runnable, right? It looks pretty flat. If you were to run it on a normal day without 100 and whatever, 50 kilometers in your legs, if you were to run it on a normal day, it's very runnable. But when
It's
you've
probably like
100,
4 or 5%,
yeah, but when
isn't
you've
it?
150k in your legs, oh man, it's awful. It is just awful, and it's awful for the people in UTMB, and it's just as bad for the people in CCC. So to have the crowds of people further up the road there is a massive boost psychologically to get you over that last climb. Like, oh, it's class.
Yeah, that is a kind of a demoralizing spot because, as you say, it's just steep enough, and you're just tired enough that you just kind of have to walk it.
Yeah, yeah.
But not for the pros. Last hot take from the week: Kailash shoes everywhere. Trail Talk community filled out the form that we had 24 hours exclusive access to get free shoes, and 20 people who you had to basically be running a UTMB race in the finale and be in Chamonix to collect the shoes. And 20 members of the community were there and they got the shoes. So it's nice to be able to give a wee freebie out. I got myself a pair of the 2025 330s and the Pro, which is the carbon plated shoe, which was second at OCC on Christian Minogio. So yeah, that was the last thing. The Kailash shoes were everywhere, and everyone that got them liked them. A few people that actually swapped into them during UTMB, they didn't have them soon enough to wear them to start the race, but they swapped Champagne Lac, and they were like, "Fuck! I wish I'd worn these earlier." They're just, really comfortable and grippy. So thank you to Kailas for that. Now we got to talk CCC. Before we get there, if you can't stick around, catch up on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're also dropping shoe and gear reviews on YouTube only, so subscribe there. Ricky, where's the link?
In the bio, in the bio. Jesus, my God, I just completely froze there. Welcome to live TV.
Ricky, learn your lines.
Yeah, yeah.
CCC, Martina redemption run. The Polish athletes had a good showing. I knew she was going to do it. I think I had her down as second in my fantasy picks. Really happy that she won that race. What do you think of that?
Ah, unbelievable race. Unbelievable race. CCC was incredible. It was an incredible race in both men and women's field, but definitely in the women's. In the women's, like, I mean, y- we were here for the women's race come the end of that one. That was the most intense, spectacular, I don't know, fire bit of racing I've ever seen. Like after 100k, and Martina comes out on top. So happy for her. Again, Hoka Pro. So I'm super happy for that. But just an amazing race and an amazing finish. Like for fans of the sport, anyone that thinks ultra run isn't exciting, man, you didn't see CCC.
Like she was passed in the final descent down into Chamonix, so that is she Sylvia Nordstar passed with around 7k to go, and then after Cafe La Floria there is 4k to the finish, and it's a bit more runnable, it's less technical, and Martina repassed. So we got two passes for the lead in the last probably 40 minutes in the last couple of Ks of the race. So it was like super exciting. And the top three women were only like seconds, first and second were only seconds apart, but then third place was only a few minutes back as well. So the women really delivered at CCC. It was absolutely amazing race. And those here for the women's race t-shirts, if you didn't want one now, get one now because actually the women's racing is more exciting to watch.
But like the skill level as well, what people mightn't understand is the skill level in this. Like the descent from Flagey down to Chamonix is very technical, very rooty, very rocky. And I'm talking about daytime. That's in daytime. They were running in the dark with head torches on them. And I'm not messing around. I actually think they passed each other 5 times between Flagey and the finish. Like it was insane. So it was. There was Sylvia actually nearly fell trying to put her head torch on at one stage, but just trying to make that pass and trying to stick with Martina. It was insane.
Let's move on to
Yeah. So
because
somebody dropping the chat. Did I get through when Aaron was froze? Because I gave a savage description on that race there.
well, unfortunately, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube aren't going to hear that bit. But I'm pretty sure that you said it was tactical until the Floria, and then it's less tactical, and then it's flatter into the town. So
Yeah,
that's
and
good.
it's at
That's good
nighttime,
enough.
and it's at nighttime.
And it's at night time. Yes, well said. On to the men's race. Poopy, absolute masterclass. I
Mm.
knew he was going to do it. He was a favourite to win the race. He always looked in control.
Yeah, but again, to I would have said Poopy favourite for the race, right? We both had him at number one. I would say damn near everybody on here on the live and everybody in the chat had Poopy for the win, which adds massive pressure to Poopy. You know what I mean? Like he has massive weight on his shoulders and he has to deliver. And man, if you were to have I know there probably is no such a thing as the perfect race, as in where everything goes right. But I would say it was damn close, man. He had one hell of a day. He just executed it like to perfection. Like it was incredible to watch. And he always looked strong. He never looked like he was, fading. We were watching him and we were like going, look at the way he's running down those hills after like 60k in his legs. He was running down into Treant and he was flying, so he was. He looked like a man that hadn't 10, 15k in his legs. Very impressive. And like you're talking about unbelievable runners chasing you down, like David Sinclair chasing you down, Eli Hemming chasing you down, all these rocket ships chasing you down. And he was just cool, calm, very professional.
Can I ask you something about Francesco Pupi? Where was he? Where has he been? I don't remember him being away. So how are we so back?
Yeah,
How
we
are
so
we so
back.
back? But where did he go?
Yeah. Well,
Like
I
I
know.
understand
Yeah.
that Jim is so back because Jim had a sore knee. And now
Mm.
Jim has won OCC and Jim is so back. But Francisco Pupi hasn't been anywhere apart from winning races. Where like where is it?
But
Is he talking about like since he joined Hoka? Now he's like he's so back to winning ways. I don't know. Like I don't get it. I do love it though.
yeah, yeah. I actually think it was something to do with when he was training for canyons or something, and it was like I'm not saying it was an injury or something, but it was like where he'd do a race and then he was recovering from that race and then he had a really good training day and it was like, oh, I'm back. I say it after a race and I think it's the translation. When he first started saying it, it was kind of lost in translation or something like that, that kind of way. But it stuck. It just stuck. And now it's like we're so back. And it's like everybody's jumping on it now. Jim's jumping on it. Everyone's jumping on it. He's getting t-shirts made. He's getting merch like Trail Talk now.
I think you're right. I think it is maybe a little bit. It's just, you know, we're back, baby, but
Yeah.
it's lost in translation a little bit. But yeah, if anyone in the audience is Italian or that they know anything that we haven't mentioned, let us know how Francesco is so back, or that
Mm,
we how are we so back? Uh, Drew Holman, I thought
yeah.
he had a mad performance. The guy is elite pacer, mad consistent.
Mm,
What do you think of Drew?
yeah. Like he had like he sort of made he held on and I don't know how I don't know, was it like the perfect pacing or was it just that it was just that he had sort of like a plan in his head and he was saying, well, this is where I am and this is where I'm at, and then all of a sudden these guys start coming back to him, if you know what I mean. I don't think it was like it was just a perfect pace, and it was just that he was so strong throughout the day, and then other lads were just kind of maybe blowing up just slightly in front of him, and he still was strong. And then when he realized that, holy shit, man, I'm moving up the field, because it was only that last climb from Argentière or from Valenciennes up to Flégère where he actually started like, wow, he's really making moves now, and he went. I think he went from fifth to third there, like, so he would have been like, holy shit, I'm in third right now. And probably not and probably found out he wasn't that far behind David Sinclair either, and it was like, all right, let's just fly off this mountain, like. So
But that is Drew Holman's way. He,
yeah,
when I say he's excellent at pacing, he paces it well enough that he's not the guy fading, he's not the guy hanging on. So then, if there are people fading and just hanging on, he has the ability to just gobble them up near the end of the race, which is exactly what he's done time and time again. So really impressive. Uh, I did not. I think I had him in my fantasy picks at I don't know, maybe seventh or eighth or something. I knew he would have a top 10. Did not think he was going to be top three.
no, I can't remember where I have him. I think I think I'm similar to you. I had him at seventh or eighth or something like that as well. Very, very big result again for ACG and that like
The
that
waffle
bit of
top.
the waffle top, yeah, like so. I'd say they're absolutely delighted to see that in the podium in UTMB, like, so that's podium in first place at Western States, and now another podium at a UTMB race. So that's huge for the brand.
A couple of our names I'll throw out. Let me know what you think. Anna Tarasova, Blondine Lirandell, Eli Hemming getting seventh in his longest race yet. Pick up whatever you want to talk about and run with it.
Anna, Anna Tarabosa. I've been singing Anna's praises for year, well, for the last year on this show, and I've been saying in most races I'm picking her, I'm putting her in my fantasy trail, and like I've just been watching her do her thing all year. And I mean, she's really grown as an athlete. Like, she's just getting better and better and better and better. She's always running with a smile on her face. I'm telling you, if you see her at any picture that's going around from CCC, she will have a smile on her face, She and so I am delighted for her. I think like that's one of the coolest stories, I think, for UTMB, because I know her personally. She's really, really nice person, and it's like she's actually genuinely one of those people that have like just started off as like, yeah, decent enough runner, and then just getting better and better, putting more training in, talking to very, very smart people and better runners, and getting that little bit of luck when you need that bit of luck. So I'm delighted for her. Podium at CCC UTMB week. I don't know, it's insane.
Massive. Like she has a string of a lot of victories, but whenever you look at them, it's like Tenerife Blue Trail and lots of other ones as well. I forget, was it the 80K at Lavaredo? Races that you look at the results, you're like, it looks like it's a good result. There's certainly a lot of first places on her index, but who is she competing against? She's obviously competing against good people,
Yeah.
but she's not maybe competing in the premier race at that event. And also 12th at OCC last year. So coming in with third place at CCC this year is just amazing. Like the best performance in her career by a mile, but
By a
on
mile,
that
yeah.
on that trajectory. So well done to her. I think she's Russian but speaks Spanish, lives in Spain.
Yeah.
Norda athlete, ran it in 005s.
Yeah. Norda
Uh,
and Chance. So she's like part of Chance and Norda. So I think they collab together on her sponsorship, which is very good. Yeah. Really, really good signing because I think she only signed with Norda at the start of the year. So that was a very good signing just as they were dropping the 005. Like I think she's won every single race since she got that shoe, so that's good for the brand.
it is that they were very happy. All right, UTMB, Ruth 22:56. Courtney's record, different course, blah blah blah, 22:30.
Yeah.
So
22.
it was a very different start to the race. I don't think maybe we take weather conditions into it because there's always a mix up, but they did drop pyramids out of the course, which made it a little bit faster, a little bit less technical in the first night. But look, Ruth ran an outstanding race. She went out hardish at the start and took the lead, and then Courtney took it back. And I thought it was impressive how then she not necessarily stayed in the game, she just ran her own race. And Courtney kind of maybe blew herself up or did something. We probably will never find out what exactly happened Courtney's race, but what did you think of Ruth's performance?
That's class. Like I don't know, were you there? Were we together when we were watching the pass when we saw? I don't know, were you there? I can't remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
I was
Um,
on course.
Yeah, you were out of course. I was in your apartment and I was watching the live on YouTube and I saw the pass. I saw Ruth pass Courtney and I mean, Courtney wasn't moving too badly then, you know what I mean? She wasn't. It was later on in the race that Courtney started to really struggle, maybe on the next climb after that and then she got passed again. But Ruth was just looking so, so strong, looking really, really smooth and looked like she was hammering the kilometers down.
Yeah, I was out on course, so I saw them at Cormier at maybe 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, around that time. And just kind of looked like business. There was no real signs of anyone being overly worked or anything. But then at La Foulée, which is basically the next, what are you at La Foulée? You're probably like 8K away from Champay-Lac, so they've gone up uh, through and run the balcony route down through Arnova and then over the Grand Col Ferret. And then La Foulée is halfway between the Grand Col Ferret and Champay-Lac, so it's halfway down a descent. And Courtney and Cami Breas came through first and second, and both of them kind of like Courtney looked, she was smiling and stuff, but that means nothing. Courtney
Mm.
is always smiling. She was kind of business. She wasn't, I could see she wasn't loving it, but she was just doing it. She wasn't uncomfortable or anything. Cami Breas came through. She took a lot more time at the aid station, filled her stuff, nibbled a little bit, went on with a full mouth, waved at a few people. Ruth came through and she just looked in a different zone. She was just chill, but
Yeah.
she was moving better, mate. When there's just you're moving, but you're like gravity is assisting and all that type of stuff. Ruth came through and she just came down the little descent and off to took a little right round the tree and over the bridge. And she looked like she was more together, like
Mm.
physically. And they were also close at that time as well. So I think it was actually in this next section that a lot of the passes happened and there was a lot
Yeah.
of shake up. So amazing race at the front of the women's race.
Yeah, very, very cool because the passes as well. You know that this is the cool thing about this race is like they're all superstars, kind of, right? They're all legends as well. And when they pass each other, there is almost like Ruth knew that that was it. She was about to pass Courtney and maybe go on and take the win. And there's like such respect between the two of them. And it's the same when Cammy Brewis came up behind Courtney as well. You know, it's like it's they just almost have that little bit of like acknowledgement. There's a little bit of chat. There's a massive amount of respect for each other, and then they just move on and go about their business. Like, and it's very cool, very unique to this sport, I think, as well. You don't see that in any other sport because it's just the way it happens in ultra running, you know. And I just think that's it's very unique to this sport.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, like whenever they pass, they are doing they might be friendly and how's it going, or keep going or whatever, but they're still passing with that
Oh
racer's
yeah, yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
still, okay, now you need to make a push. Now you need to gap this
Get out of
person.
sight. Get out of
Yeah,
sight. Get out of
out of
sight.
sight
Yeah.
and do your best running form and get them away out of the place. Courtney kept going and finished in 25:50. Man, she was lucky to get in the top 10.
Yeah,
She was just
I know.
slipping back and back and back. And I think it was distance running was the account that shared a reel of her just climbing up the climb to Flagere. And mate,
Oh,
it
I
was
seen it. I
this.
seen it. I
It
seen it.
was the slowest
Yeah.
cadence. It was a little granny going up the hill. I think whenever I saw it, it had 1.6 million views and it was only a few days old. But it was just the only sound you could hear was the poles and the gravel and the feet in the gravel and just like the metronomic rhythm of it being so slow. Like, mad respect for her going to the finish. She didn't have to finish it, and I think it means a lot to finish it. So,
And still an amazing time all the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know because we're talking about, oh, everyone's talking about sub 20 and then whatever for the women's race, you know, or 22, 23, you know, sub 24 hours and all that. But 25 hours, what was her time? 25.
25:50, so 2.5 hours off her course record.
Yeah, but it's still an amazing time on a body that was pretty much broken for the last maybe 70K of that
Oh
race. Like
man,
she
she was
was in the
moving like a
bin.
granny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that is it. She was so slow going up Flagere. Like it was like so sore. Every bone in her body was hurting. Every muscle in her body was aching. And I'd say she was just like, oh, please get me to the top of this. And then I can shuffle down. Just get me home, you know. But I mean, massive respect for her to finish because again, if she dropped out, nobody would have said anything. But the other thing that's funny is like so many people have asked me, "Oh, I wonder what happened," or "I wonder like what went wrong." And it's 170K in the Alps in all kinds of weather. I mean, the weather at nighttime was brutal up at Col de Bam. It was snowing. I seen images today that I didn't see. I only seen them today from the morning after that night, and there was so much snow, and it looked like it was freezing cold. So like that's you know what I mean. This is not like running 100K on a track. This is mountains, extreme conditions, brutal racing, and no, it just means she's human. Like she's human after all.
Yeah,
And
these are the extremes that we have to deal with at a mountainous ultra trail.
yeah, yeah,
Tyler in the chat said most people would kill for 25:50. You damn right, boy. I
yeah,
would kill for 25:50. We know people who had great runs that were sub 30.
yeah.
So 25:50 is a great run, but not a great run if you're the goat.
Yeah, yeah. But Courtney only because I have to give fellow Irish compatriot Emma Stewart a shout out. Like Emma was only 5 minutes, I think, 5 or 6 minutes behind Courtney for that elusive top 10. That would have been amazing to see Emma get that top 10. Now, look, she's 11th, one spot off the top 10. She's only behind Courtney Dauwalter, the GOAT. She's only behind the GOAT. That's, I think, the fastest or the best Irish position in a UTMB race for any male or female. Yeah, and I'm saying that out loud.
Yeah, yeah, an absolutely great showing from her, and yeah, close to the top 10, but maybe next time. But I know Kim Collison was raving about it. He was very happy with that run as well. A couple other notable things I think it's worth mentioning whenever we're talking about people grinding it out. Emily Hawgood, your trail mummy, 38 hours.
Yeah,
Emily, she finished that. She was smiling. She was sleeping in an aid station, curled up, smiling. Oh my, I mean, that woman is an inspiration with just
yeah.
how happy she goes about stuff.
Yeah, like, and again, like that finish for her, like that's gone viral. That's nearly as cool as the ones watching Courtney go up Flagere. You know what I mean? I mean, for Emily to stay with it and say, "Do you know what? I'm walking it in. I'm finishing it." Because me and you, we actually thought that she was gone. We thought that maybe she withdrew. That was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were thinking, no, she's curled up, she's under a table, wrapped up in a blanket, and it was looking
Yeah,
like it was game over. And she probably just slept and had a bit to eat, but like she was quoted and saying that no, I will walk it in if I have to. Yeah, so like that's super cool. I think that's just so cool, very inspirational. Anyone that ever thinks about giving up the next time, just think of Emily. What would Emily do?
yeah. And 38 hours, that meant that she saw sunrise hitting the Mont Blanc on Sunday morning. And who else finished in the 38 hours? Andy Glaze. So that gives you an idea of, the how much slower Emily was moving to finish in that window of or bracket of runners as well. So, mad respect to Emily. Alyssa Clark. I just want to
Mm.
mention Alyssa Clark. She grounded out for a very slow finish by her own standards. Obviously, top athlete there with On. Moving on to the guys. Take it away, Ricky. What do you got for me?
Uh, Tom.
1918.
Yeah.
1918.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, not of Tom. I'm not saying that. I'm not a fan of anyone drinking out of a shoe. But if you're going to drink out of a shoe and you won UTMB, you're definitely allowed. Like it was insane. It was a very, very good race. He managed that race so well. Like annihilated the field, really. Like you know what I mean. He absolutely annihilated them. Like kudos, hats off to Ben and Josh for second and third. But I mean they were a long way off Tom Evans. Tom Evans was long home before Ben Demon came in. So massive respect to Tom. And I'm at the same time I am happy for him, very happy for him. Like he's had two DNFs here, and that's always going to be in your head when you come back to this race. Is like, can I actually do what I've been talking about doing for the last couple of years? And DNFs, man, they hurt and they just hang around there in the back of your head and they're always there. And I'm sure he could have had doubts throughout the night when it was biblical up at Culdabam as well, when him and Josh and Ben they were huddled together kind of as a buddy system, trying to make sure they were okay and get each other through. And whatever they did up there, it worked. And then he came out the strongest out of the whole of them. So he definitely was mountain ready. His gear was in check because look, that's it. It's all about managing your gear at those extremities. So he did that better than everybody else. So
Yeah, he said that he had like for the cold weather he'd put his gels into gel bottles, so he just had the in mittens. He could just flip the bottle or flip the top off and squeeze a gel in, and each bottle had like three gels. I think he said they were Morton. So that was interesting. Big gel bottle guy here, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Uh, but a few things like that. He's just, he's learned. It sometimes takes Tom a couple of goes at it, but usually he comes through and wins the race. I think Ben Damon maybe give it to him in the end. Like Ben faded. Ben wasn't. It's not like Ben fought to the end. Ben fought to. Are we even going to say Champelac?
Mm, mm.
And then after that, Ben has even said himself that he was like running scared because he heard about Josh Wade coming through, who was having a day. Like
Yeah,
whenever I saw Josh Wade in La Folie, he was eighth. But obviously, I'd seen all of the guys come through, all of the women come through. Josh Wade, out of everybody, he was the most normal. He was clear-headed. He came in and he was like, how he kind of, he's a bit kind of jokey and laughy and stuff. He was like, how's it going?
yeah.
And he said hi to a couple of people that he recognized, photographers and things. And then I was standing over by the end of the knack bottles, and I was videoing it obviously for the content. So I was looking at the phone and not looking at him because you're looking at the frame.
Yeah.
And Josh come over out of frame for a fist bump and goes, "What a, how's it going?" or something like this to me. And I'm looking at the phone and I had to look over and go, "All right, mate." Fist bumped him and it felt so fucking awkward. And then he sent me he actually sent me a message afterwards. He goes, "Well, good to see you out on course." So, and we also got a comment. Do you remember we interviewed him on the show earlier this year? And I think the title of this podcast was something like uh, "The Next Big Thing" in
Mm.
Ultra Trail or something. And someone went on and comment on that podcast episode and said, "Good call, guys. You just started at UTMB."
Yeah, like for me, it is like I've never met him in real life. You know what I mean? But like we're big fans of Josh. We like what he's done over the last few years, and we've always been hyping him up. We've always been saying he is due a huge race, like and like what a day, what a result for him. So, look, and I'm Irish, but I'm very very proud of that win for Josh. Like I think that was super cool to see him win that, because he seems like such a good guy, such a normal, down to earth guy. He's a grafter. He's a landscape gardener, part time, and then he's badass running up and down mountains. So that's massive for him, massive result.
Yeah, he's like if Liam Gallagher was an ultra trail running gardener.
Mm,
But he's got a bit of banter about him, so big
yeah.
big fan of Josh Wade. What did you think of Mike Versteeg?
Ah,
He
yeah, yeah.
finished in 26:44, so a very, very solid time. Mike Versteeg is 40 years old. He hasn't run UTMB before. He went out scantily clad. He was seen in Lecontamine with no top on when others
Mm.
were well wrapped up. I don't know if that was, I'm assuming it was between layer changes,
Yeah,
but I,
I
I
was
think a
watching
very,
him, like I was watching him. He was changing his clothes, like.
I think a very respectable showing from Versteeg. It shows his, we need athletes to compete against the best to know where they rank.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was a good run.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those, like it is one of those where you see somebody do something in America for years and years and you always wonder like, yeah, but how would he get on against the best at UTMB? So it is cool to see him come over here, and it's not like he's from that part of the world. It's not like he's used to those kind of mountains. So for him to run that kind of a race and in that kind of weather, I kind of would have always said that, nah, when the weather gets real bad, I don't see him dogging it out. I think that he'll drop. So, like, it was very, very impressive to see that he finished it out and finished it strong as well. Again, like, I know we talk about sub 20 hours and that, but 26 hours at UTMB is still a very, very respectable time. Like, it's a huge time. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's had one crack at it before and he didn't finish. I forget what year it was. But yeah, interesting. Tom Jolie, we got to mention Tom. I was following Tom for Kailas, and honestly, it's like seeing Cormier. I've never seen somebody come in that was so together.
Mm,
I I didn't want to say because I was just there doing media and I wasn't really communicating with him. I was just letting him do his thing with his coach. But I felt in my head I was going, "Why are you not wet?" Why are you not sweating? Why is your hair dry? Like he come in and pack off, sat down and started eating this big bowl of like rice and broccoli and shit. And he was just hoofing it in and drinking and stuff. And his coach was doing all the bits that they planned, restocking the pack and shit like this. They looked really together. His plan was in and out in 5 minutes, and he left in under five minutes, and away he went. And then the next time I saw him, it was in La Foulée, so he'd gone up and run the balcony route and and then again back down and to Arnuva and over the Grand Col Ferret. And he came into La Foulée in a bit of a shape, to be honest. He had terrible like GI issues from I think somewhere along the balcony route anyway. And he was just like he had diarrhea. It wasn't
Mm.
vomit or anything. And we're not quite sure of the reasons. I'm sure, he'll be thinking about that. But he unfortunately withdrew just after Champay, which is unfortunate. You can only make these decisions yourself, so it's hard to really criticize it whenever you don't know it. I do think there's definitely value in finishing these things, even if it does take a long reset, because ultra running is so much of a mental sport, and I think that grinding shit out actually grows just the mental resilience for when
Yeah.
things get really hard. But it's also worth saying that now he can reset and get another race in because he did have a good training block. And you know yourself, mate, like when you've trained well, you want to spend the fitness.
Yeah, because I just what I gathered from his Instagram stories yesterday, because I sent him a message as well because I found his stories yesterday. I know he was probably venting and just getting stuff off his chest, but it like it resonated with me, and I'm sure it resonated with tons of other people that DNF'd out of their racers, DNF'd out of other races. It was very interesting to hear him talk about it. One thing I'd say is he probably didn't want to put himself in a hole because I do think he has a race next month. So he's got a race in October, I think, as well. So he's going to do that. But he said a lot of things about gear and not managing his gear right, and he got wet, and then and then his wet gear got wet, his gloves got wet, and he didn't test some of his gear, and he tried new things on race day, and like they're all no-nos, and they're all like kind of rookie mistakes. But sometimes when you're in a race and you're in the moment, you make mistakes, and it's just you have to like tighten up on them, and you have to learn from them going into the next race. So there's just food for thought there.
It's like Tom is an elite pro runner, but it's not like he has 10 or 15 years of experience. So
Hmm.
every season that passes, he's getting more experience. And I genuinely thought this was a year when a lot of that experience was going to come together and he was going to have a strong top 10 showing at UTMB, but it wasn't to be. But he's coming away from it with more experience,
Yeah.
and that usually means that you can refine it even more and come back stronger. So I look forward to seeing what Tom gets up to in the coming months.
Yeah, and interesting to see, like, would say he was in teens, right? And they all go to teens. All the big dogs go to teens because teens is at higher altitude than Chamonix. So they stay away from Chamonix because they don't want the buzz of Chamonix. They don't want the distraction. But they go to teens, and then the teens is like an extra 1,000 meters. So you're at 2,000 meters, and every day you go training, you're at 3,000, probably 3,400. And altitude doesn't always work for everybody. And I think what he was saying was that's his third camp at altitude, and he doesn't think that it's good for him. So maybe he needs to train at lower altitude, that train at that high altitude all the time. It like because he had an iron deficiency, and that could be one of the reasons why he's got an iron deficiency because he isn't recovering properly. That he's training hard and he's just not recovering. So again, it's like you have to try these things to figure out. But the problem is when you try them and they don't work, it's hard and you DNF. But then again, it's also hard because he's a professional athlete, like with a brand that are backing him to the gills or whatever. And if you don't perform, you never know what a brand is going to do or what a sponsor is going to do. So you have to feel
Yeah.
for athletes at the same time.
And the thing is, whenever like the athletes that do the campaigns, they don't do it for any race other than UTMB.
Mm,
So once a year testing this out before the big show.
yeah.
So, that in itself can be an unknown. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Big fans of Tom, and
Mm.
we know he'll come back strong. I stuck up a vote on the Trail Talk broadcast channel. What was the best race people enjoyed? And it was a dead heat between UTMB and OCC, 26 votes to 24, and then
Crazy.
6 for
I think that's
CCC,
crazy.
which is weird. Like I probably would have said that CCC women's race was the
Oh, it's
best.
the best race, man. That was the best race. The CCC women's race was the best race. Don't care. I know Jim won and won an unreal race and only passed uh,
Christian.
Christian. Sorry, yeah, only passed Christian in the last couple of K. But I mean, it still wasn't as exciting as the CCC. I just think like that was phenomenal. That bit of racing at the end of that race. That was Jesus, edge of seat stuff, you know. But so was OCC. Like I was actually, like I told you, I was at Ravenel on that like little sort of like chain gang of people left and right, and I was looking at the thing, and it was Christian is estimated in Chamonix in like 2 minutes. It was Christian. It wasn't Jim Walmsley. And then when this man, Jim Walmsley, comes around the corner. I'm like, shit, it's Jim. Jim's leading. Like, Jim, and Jim had that cheeky little hand on the shoulder, kind of like, good effort, mate. I thought that was so cool. But I mean, that was, anyone, like, that was kind of like Golden Trail Series vibes. And the same with CCC. It's like people, the level is getting so good and the athletes are getting so good that they're turning 50, 60, 100K races into actual like down to the wire, down to the line races, like, which is so good for the sport.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Best racing week of the year, hands down. Exhausting and exhilarating. Community racers, we had load of people.
Mm.
I'm gonna miss people in this. Like big ups to everyone in Trail Talk community that raced. Nicole, Carl, Andrew, Paul in OCC. Anyone else?
Well, then we have,
We had Damien in TDS, and fair play to Damien. Damien finished TDS 30 minutes before the Trail Talk meetup at Moody Coffee, and he made it to the meetup.
yeah. Yeah, he was
So
there. He was there. He was there for the meetup at 9 in the morning. Came over, got a photo with us. That was super cool. Man's only literally after finishing TDS, that he comes down and he has a coffee with the boys. Like it was
and
dead nice.
he was telling us stories about the race, and he was like, oh, hold on a minute, my head's ringing. Oh, hold on a minute, I can't really hear right in my ear.
Yeah,
The man was both in pieces but together. Like I don't know, he was broken inside. But big up Damien for making it to the coffee
yeah,
meetup, and then in CCC, we had Ben, Carl, and Hannah. And my God, I saw Hannah, the pictures of Hannah coming through all day, and she was just like smiling and loving life. And obviously, her dad is Philip is also in the community, and he was out there doing support. And I saw them both actually spectating the day before
mm,
CCC at the OCC over now near Argentia. So that was
yeah.
cool.
She looked like she was having a great time on the course. She looked like she was really milking the support, taking it all in. So that was very cool to see. I got to see Carl at the end of his race as well. I wasn't there just as he came across the line, but I was there just after it. Like so, yeah. Again, look, it's always very cool to see the people that we know in the chat. But like it's even cooler to see them finishing a UTMB race and been in Chamonix with them.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is me, you, and Leo Boyle and your mate Ron, my mate Ron. We were at the finish line, and Paul Brennan came in. It was I don't know what time in the morning. It was probably 1 a.m. in the morning or
No,
something.
no, 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 no. It was like 10:30 p.m. or
Oh,
something like
okay, yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
we were there for ages, right? But he came in. on his goal time, like 29 hours and 10 minutes, I
10
think.
minutes.
Yeah, and that actually was like the feel good factor for me all weekend. Like I could see the emotion on him. He was so happy. He was so happy that we were there as well. Like, and I just found that was actually just such a cool moment, you know. So I was very grateful that we were there, you know, to see that. Yeah.
Performance of the week by Paul, absolutely outstanding.
Mm,
Ronnie had a couple of great results earlier on in the year as well. And we saw him on, was it Wednesday or Thursday at Bighorn, and he called his shot. He
mm,
said, Wonder Day is 29 something, and he
yeah.
run 29:10.
Yeah.
So that's got to feel really good.
And then Julie and Tom. So Julie, I'm not 100%. I think Julie's in the chat, but I'm not 100%. If she's not, she's still a massive fan of the show. Like, so
Yeah, she's
yeah.
definitely into the podcast, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Julie McNamee, so she finished UTMB. It's her first time. Massive, massive result for Julie. And my friend Tom Downs from Cork, one of the first men I ever met in ultra running. So I don't know if Tom is watching or will be watching, but I'm sure he will at some stage. Like, congrats to the pair of you. That was cool to see. Cool to see.
And unfortunately, our man Lee, full kit
Mm.
wanker, OG full kit wanker, uh, he DNF'd. But look, he went in with like sore appendix, and I got the text from him today, confirmed it is a dodgy appendix. So
Yeah.
I think the doctor kind of said to him, "Here, you could have been dead." So
Mm.
Lee did not reply and say, "Here, you never would guess what I was just trying to do at the weekend."
Yeah, yeah, and like that, like fair play. He tried, you know, he did try, but he was telling me, look, I promised my wife if I felt like it was starting to hurt me, because he was on his own, he was doing it like with no crew, with nobody, you know, and nearly burst his appendix on Monday. So yeah, he made the right call. Sometimes you just have to be smart, and that's a smart drop. Chris, who I stayed with in America, unfortunately, he had a DNF in UTMB. Just a couple of like again, it's just going back to that sort of like little things like he didn't start with his jacket on, and loads of people did this. Loads of people made this mistake where you didn't start with a jacket and it was drizzling, and then the rain got heavier, and then your clothes is wet, and by the time you put your jacket on, you're actually cold, and then by the time you put your jacket on, you're freezing cold. Then all your outer layer is wet as well. Everything inside is wet as well. His gloves got soaked, stuff like that. And I'm telling you, when you get cold and you're up that high, it just goes through you, like it goes to your bones. Like, and I like to say I'm super tough and I'm a big tough man and I can do this, that, and the other. I'm telling you, you should see me on a roof in November when my hands are cold. I'm nearly crying, man. I'm nearly crying. So I can only imagine how cold it was for them up there.
Oh, mate, if there's one thing that makes me like cry like a wee baby, it would be if I got cold in an ultra. I hate it.
Mm.
Cold weather is the one thing that does actually make me cramp, and it's the worst ever feeling. But
Yeah, and if you're cold as well, like it's mad because you do get, even though you don't think it, you get super dehydrated as well. You know, you get super dehydrated, and then as well because you're cold, you don't want to drink anything. You only want hot, warm things because you're freezing. So then you might be taking on gels and you might be taking in calories, but you're not hydrating, and you're getting dehydrated, and that's how you get stomach issues as well. Like, you know.
man, I feel like we're finishing off the show with like the DNF report. But such is life. And
Yeah,
I'm not finishing DNF report until, because that's what we're calling it now, until we shout out Sam K in the community, because he may have DNF'd the Swiss Peaks race, but he DNF'd it at 403 kilometers,
yeah,
29,000 meters of elevation of a 700k race. And was he 90 something hours in or something? You know, like you can
yeah,
only respect
yeah.
the achievement regardless of the outcome. As I said to him, we don't do these things because there's a guaranteed finish. We do these things because we think we might be able to do them, but that means that we're living on the edge, we're walking that line, and that's why it's so gratifying and so like it just builds you up so much whenever you do finish these hard things, and that's why it's important to push the limits and enter
Yeah.
races that scare you a little bit. So Sam definitely entered a race that scared the shit out of me, and he didn't finish it, but hats off to him for getting 400 Ks into it.
Yeah, insane, insane. But again, as well, like I suppose, we don't want to finish on the negative, but this isn't a negative. What's so cool, about this sport again, is like how personal everyone's journey is. You know, like look, Tom Evans won the race. Ruth Croft, she won UTMB, and that's brilliant. That's their goal. But I mean, everybody else that finished or towed the line at UTMB had a goal, and that goal was to get across the line. So to every single person that met it, you know what I mean? You had a day, dreams came true, and we were there for it. You know, everybody was there for it. Like thousands and thousands of people were in Chamonix, all with that one goal in mind. Like, and that's a very, very cool thing.
Yeah. All right. DNF report is over. Mate, I have to congratulate you.
On,
Amazing performance. You podiumed at Fantasy League for the first time ever.
yeah.
How does it feel to finish third in the UTMB fantasy picks?
Hey, if you were to ask me, because I can't see, right? I can't see what I did because it's in my phone. But if you were to ask me like what my picks were, I can't remember. I can't even remember what my picks are. I can't even remember which ones would have got me the best points either. Because I like to just spontaneous wing it, and winging
I would
it
love
wins it.
I would love to know. Stick them in the Trail Talk WhatsApp. Stick them in the racing group. Let's see what got you on the podium. I
Hey,
finished
any
fifth.
day I beat you in Fantasy Free Trail is a good day, mate, because I
Well,
know that me beating you in Free Trail kills you more.
yes, well, the Fantasy League, thankfully this is the only time you've beaten me. In CCC, you were 19th, I was ninth, and and also look, the important thing is for the season so far, I'm still top dog. I'm
Yeah,
still top
yeah.
of the league. Come on, knock me off it. I'm taking all challengers.
Don't be
Come
looking at
on.
me. I hope you're not looking at me. Josh, is Josh behind me? Is he? Where is he?
Josh is trying his best.
Yeah.
I think he's enlisted several different AI agents to try and help knock me off the top spot, and it's not working. I mean, he was second at CCC, and but he was nowhere in UTMB. So, you
Okay,
know,
for anyone that doesn't know, he does his homework. He does be there on the laptop. He puts in the time. He looks up the results. He's like, you'd swear he was booking on the dogs in the book. He's that good. He's that good. Whereas and I'm like, just do. That'll do. That'll do.
I think what you said whenever you did your picks that one time we are sitting in the apartment, and you said, "That's me. I'll not be coming back to look at that again. I'm one and done.
Yeah.
Submit."
Yeah. You said I might tweak that later. I says I won't. Yeah.
All right, man, let's wrap it up for another week. If you're interested in the banter, join the WhatsApp. If you're interested in the show, subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We also have reviews on YouTube. A couple of them have launched, a few of them are coming. Subscribe on YouTube for the shoes and gear reviews. And what do we got coming up? Well, Tour de France is not next weekend, but the weekend after. They've released the elite start list. I've stuck it in the broadcast channel for Trail Talk. I will be working at that race, but between now and then, I am in the Aosta Valley. My Fast Pack 20 is packed. My gear is packed for the huts. I'm going on an adventure, baby. So wish me luck, wish my legs luck. I'm going to wear the Kailas Fuga EX330s and see how they perform fast packing on the Tour de France course. And I'm looking forward to it. So I'll stick some pictures up on Instagram. I'll maybe do a few rails, but I'm excited, baby.
Yeah, look, you did a great job on tour last year. It's a race that's hard to follow. It is a hard race to follow, and because of you last year, I got to follow so much of it. So, really looking forward to that again this year now.
Well, this year I'll be doing something a little bit different. I suppose I'll just announce it now because I'm not sure what our Trail Talk plans will be for next week, but I will be following Franco Coley and his race. He is a four-time champion. He's the course record holder. The Fuga shoe, which is 330, is 330 because of Tour de Jante, which is 330 kilometers. And that is a shoe that he helped design for the race. So I'm really excited to be having this inside view on the race at the very front. Like
Mm.
his course record is, I think, over 3 hours faster than what Francois ran last year. So look, it's going to be exciting. I'm going to be putting out content on it, so stay tuned. And we want to wish you a good week of running and all of that other good stuff. But we have got to go to bed because Ricky's got to go on the roof tomorrow and I've got to climb a mountain. So from me, peace.
Peace.